So, whilst the Hitman 2 trailer didn't really sneak up on us, it certainly made for a killer announcement. You see what I did there? And that meant we just had to comb everything over for as many nuggets of information as possible. It's looking a lot like a subtle improvement on the first, so here's everything new to look forward to in Hitman 2. The game is again split into 6 locations, though they will not be drip-fed as episodic releases this time round. The first stage is set in Miami during the Global Innovation Race. Your target? Hot-headed driver Sierra Knox, who has a pretty good defense against Agent 47's fiber wire. She's currently hooning around the racetrack at 100 miles per hour. In the final game, Agent 47 will also have to take out her father, currently hiding in an expo building on the other side of the track. But for the purposes of this demo, our sights are set firmly on Sierra. Even before you get to the messy parts, Miami jumps off the screen. Those bright blue skies, air balloons topping off giant skyscrapers. This has to be the happiest looking murder scene since Blood Money took us to that kid's birthday party. And where that stage had Agent 47 dressed as a terrifying clown, this one has an equally frightening flamingo mascot you can strangle and undress because no one ever suspects the giant flamingo. The centerpiece of the stage is the racetrack itself, not just a cute bit of background color, but a fully simulated race. A busy stretch of tarmac designed to host the series' most mobile target yet. Hitman stages are often likened to a clockwork mechanism, dioramas that repeat themselves until you work out where to stick a spanner, or something sharper, in the works. A race is just another kind of endlessly repeating loop, waiting for Agent 47 to put a violent stop to the whole thing, or to find a way to get the target to leave it. In the case of this demo, it means stealing a racing team uniform and using Sierra's pit stop to attach a remote mine to the back of the car. One click of the detonator and she's a DNF and will be RIP. But you could also pour sugar into her tank to cause her to break down and leave the race, or you could snipe her through the windscreen from a vantage point on the bridge. Or maybe you could take out her competitor and then wait for her to take a bow on the winner's podium to make your move. I wonder if you can shake up a bottle of champagne so much that it explodes in her direction. I guess we'll find out in November. As Agent 47 walks through the arena, your eyes are assaulted with dynamic life. You might pass people queuing in line, or perusing the displays. Some are clicking up to chat, get excited, or Mexican wave. You see couples, groups, and singletons. Some excited and drunk, dancing, or others are tired, stressed, and ready to go home. No amount of bumping into similar-looking character models, though there is more variety than before, can take away from the believability of the space. Part of that sense of life is down to the pure size of the throng. The Miami level features over 1,900 people in a single stage, compared to the hundreds you'd find in Paris or Sapienza in the earlier game. And they're not just set dressing. Borrowing a trick from Assassin's Creed's playbook, you can now blend into crowds, helping you creep around guards who could otherwise see through your disguise. Hitman Absolution had a similar trick, but tied it to instinct mode, which limited its usefulness. It's also suggested that you can enter crowds to lose suspicious witnesses already on your tail, maybe letting you lead them away from a door they're guarding and cutting back round to slip through. In a similar move, although we don't get to try it in the Miami stage, Agent 47 can now hide in vegetation. Yes, every stealth hero does it these days, but it's good for our hero to have a more well-rounded set of moves. If rumors are to be believed, this skill will particularly come in handy in the second stage, which is thought to be set in a thick rainforest. I just hope it's better than the ropey Colombian stages in the original Hitman codename 47. One of the more interesting additions is IO's new picture-in-picture mode, which sees secondary windows pop up in the corner of the screen to show key moments of action that help contextualize what's going on in that level. When a body is found, for example, it will show you which body, something that was never very clear in the last Hitman. If Diana decides to feed you some intel mid-mission, highlighting an important character or item, you'll be able to see what she's specifically talking about, handy when there are nearly 2,000 people for you to get distracted by. It also can be used to show you exactly what the CCTV cameras are filming. Again, in the first game, getting snapped by security would often come as a nasty surprise. The first you'd learn of a camera's existence was the message that you'd been filmed. This provides much cleaner context for how badly you messed up. I'm interested to find out if we can trigger these picture-in-picture pop-ups ourselves. For example, if you place a mine, could we have a camera watch over it so we could detonate it at a specific moment? Might be handy. A key part of the assassin fantasy is waltzing past security to reach the precious target within. You want them dumb enough to outfox and look cool while doing it, but not so stupid that they hand you their boss on a plate. Hitman could sometimes slip into the dumb territory. It's amazing how easily elite mercenaries are distracted by a shiny penny. And while the old coin-throwing trick is just as potent here, the goons are getting a bit of an IQ boost. For starters, enemies can now see Agent 47 in reflections. Try to sneak up on a target while they look at a reflective surface, and they won't just happily let you stroll on in and snap their necks. It makes bathrooms and chrome-filled car workshops a little harder to stalk, but it's a nice way of making you more aware of your surroundings. One tweak that makes life a tad easier is the fact that even though enemies now recognize Agent 47 from his face, you prevent them seeing through your disguises, or at least stretch out the time it takes to get recognized by turning away from them. It doesn't mean you can complete entire levels by walking backwards, but it does add flexibility, allowing for more experimental approaches to each encounter. Agent 47's classic briefcase will also be making an appearance in Hitman 2, once again allowing Agent 47 to carry his sniper rifle around in public places unseen. It's being extended here to carry any item in the game, which is very useful for smuggling your more overblown tools of the trade into high-security areas. One may not trust a giant flamingo carrying a fire axe, but a giant flamingo with a briefcase? Why, that's just a giant flamingo on his way to work at the bank or something. Of course, as with many suspicious items in the last Hitman game, if you leave the briefcase unattended for too long, it will be collected and moved elsewhere, opening up even more strategies for smuggling items where there shouldn't be. This should allow for some particularly nifty new plays in the returning contract modes, where you try to devise an ingenious assassination and challenge friends to beat it. The option to move objects around in the safety of a case opens up a huge range of sneaky takedowns. If you played 2016's Hitman, you'll notice right off the bat that the sequel gives you the whole batch of 6 levels on November 13th, dropping the episodic format. But Hitman 2 will still be supported in a similar manner to the first game, with escalation contracts and elusive targets to come. If you're new to these developments, escalation contracts give you a series of 5 missions that, well, escalate. A new objective is added to every run-through, forcing your solutions to get more and more complicated. It's a great way of stretching your understanding of the game's systems and to get you playing in more unusual ways. And the elusive targets are contracts that appear for a limited time, 2 or 3 days, and only give you one attempt to bring them down. Everyone hops into the game, takes their pop at the new mystery target, and then compares high scores or anecdotes about how they totally messed up. One new extra is the Sniper Assassin mode, which is a new riff of Hitman's Sniper Challenge from Hitman Absolution. As in that bonus mode, it hands Agent 47 a sniper rifle, locks him to a distant perch that looks down on a huge level, and leaves him to take out the targets. It's not just a case of shooting 3 people in the head, but using bullets to set off environmental chain reactions, or snipe people so they fall where they can't be found. It's like a proper Hitman level, just played at long distance. Unlike Sniper Challenge, it's a co-op game this time, setting up even more sophisticated solutions. The mode will contain more than one map, though the first is available to play right now if you pre-order the game. We've enjoyed what we've played of it, but as always, we recommend waiting to see the final game before throwing your money at it. And that's what we know of Hitman 2 so far. To summarize, not so much bigger, but certainly badder and bolder, if Agent 47 could be any bolder, which I'm not sure is possible. What do you make of the sequel? And what would you like to see from the second game? Would you like to see more from us on Hitman 2 in the future? Thank you for watching Rock Paper Shotgun. If you'd like to catch the next video when it drops, remember to click the little notification bell and/or subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you soon.